What's going on, everybody? Matt Tobacco from SmokinTabacco.com, live at TPE 2022, with coverage brought to you by Drew Estate. I'm at the Casa Cuevas booth with none other than Alec Cuevas himself. Alec, how are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. It's a great show. It's a beautiful day. It's about 63 degrees here in Las Vegas. It's not too warm, not too cold, but it's a beautiful day. You guys have had an awesome year. The brand is growing, doing a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Last year, you guys debuted right here. You have the Patrimonio.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit more about this line.
So for the Patrimonio, essentially, for those that don't know, Patrimonio means patrimony in Spanish. It's essentially an homage to my grandfather, handing it down to my father handing it down to myself, and hopefully legacy going forward, me handing it down to my kids and so forth. So that was the logic behind it, but we also wanted something completely out of our wheelhouse. First time ever using a Corojo wrapper, as well as first time ever using a Peruvian filler. So it's something more on the medium plus full body side of things, which we don't have in our wheelhouse until now. We're extremely thrilled with it. The reception's been phenomenal on it, and I had a big part to play with this. My grandfather essentially said, no pressure, but pressure. You've smoked a lot of different cigars, so you must know your stuff at this point, and your feet have definitely gotten wet, so check it out, see what you can blend. Going back to the drawing board, my grandfather loves his mild smokes. He loves very well-balanced cigars. That sits very differently from my father and from myself. We like cigars that are either really spicy, something that carries a lot of full body and strength to it, something that's really creamy, but you can still taste that nuance of the nuttiness, the earthiness, and everything else. Getting my grandfather to fully transition, I think, was the bigger part of the project with Patrimonio. So he wasn't thrilled with it, and yet when it came out, he was extremely excited. So,
do you feel, being a third generation in the family, making cigars and being part of the company, is there a sense of pressure, taking that torch as being the next person? Is there a lot of weight with that?
I'd say there is. Even if it looks as if it comes natural, because my family, we were all around tobacco. Even growing up back in Cuba, Pinar del Rio, my whole family life has been about tobacco, even from a young age, but the pressure's still on. Definitely a young face. I get the pleasure of sitting down with a lot of more experienced smokers and picking up a bunch of different stories, different things that I can incorporate into the business and just in my own personal life. But the challenge with that is you're the first to look at me and wonder, well, what do you know? You're on the younger side of things. I've smoked more than you have. And I'd like to say that might be the case 100%, but I take a lot of pride in what I do. And honestly, that's what our whole model's about as a company. So
I think the biggest thing for you guys too is, you just, not you and your dad, your whole family, you're just such a humbling people too. You're very humble about it. You do such a great job. You kind of, you know where you want to go with it, and you guys work really, really hard with it, and I think it shows in the product. I know you have something new that you're debuting here at TPE, the Flacco. Tell me a little bit more about Flacco.
So, very interesting anecdote at that. These came out in 2018. There were 500 count boxes of the Habano and the Maduro. We wanted limited to mean limited, so get them while they're hot. And in 2019, immediately as the year began, we got a new warehouse operation in Miami. We just finished moving everything over. 7 guys in the middle of the night, it was a Sunday, I believe, broke in through the back, cut in through a bunch of rebar. They knew where the humidor was, and they wiped us out. 25,000 cigars gone in a flash. Now, at the time, all we had was a core line product, and because we own the factory, that was easy to get that back into our, possession. Because it was just like, okay, that'll come in within a week. You need this, that, and a third. Perfect. But if you bought box 5 out of 500, in good conscience, we didn't know if it was stolen or if essentially you bought it. So, especially we didn't want all the consumers to go ahead and wait during that process of just for the box to come back out, for the whole production to go into play. So instead, we came out with the Mandaria, otherwise known as the sledgehammer, the same principal tool used to break into a warehouse. A little bit of a middle finger, so to speak, to the people that did steal the cigars. To this day, we don't know what happened to them. However, as time went on, and when I tell you they're limited, these cigars disappeared. So not even my father, myself, or my grandfather have the pleasure of smoking it. We were gifted them at events that we would host locally, and we'd lose our minds. It became the unicorn, I guess, for our company. And because of which, we figured it was just about time to go ahead and re-release them. So they're 750 count now. It's the same blend as our Habano and our Maduro core line. The difference is the 43 gauge, it's a 7. So Lancero size, if that's your cup of tea, then phenomenal.
I love a good Lancero.
I love a great Lancero too. It's right up my alley. So another cool little title, slight tidbit of info. Gabriel Alvarez, he was our old sales director, passed away not too long ago, but during this whole project, we were deciding consistently what we should call the product as a whole, and it says Flacco. because he would always call me Flacco in the office space. I'm really skinny for those of you that don't know. So all that aside, it ended up being a hit, and bringing it back feels super exciting. It's one of my go-tos personally. The Habano, hands down, one of my favorites.
Now, before I let you go, you guys are going to be at PCA this year, right?
Yes.
So, do you guys have anything maybe in the works that we might see at PCA?
Definitely. Okay, so a little bit of trade secrets here and there. I can't disclose too much information. One of the cooler things, though, that I can disclose that we have coming out, the Mandaria, but in Oscuro. We managed to go to Tampa, pick up a couple different bales of tobacco, and we're currently experimenting with a stronger Habano. One that is dark, almost like a Mexican San Andres color Maduro. But it's a Habano nonetheless. All that aside, we really want to come out with a Mandaria that carries that spice kick, but is also full body in nature. So that's another project that we have. It's probably going to be announced at PCA. A little more information to follow soon. And something else which I'm very excited and nervous about, like we talked about, is I will be having my own line coming out. Already trademarked Sangre Nueva. Now, the blends and everything else I can't disclose as of yet. I can't even disclose the Vitolas. It's something completely under wraps for right now. But I'm really excited and stoked to see how people take it. Personally, it's a lot of pressure, like we were talking about earlier, not only just being the generation, but having something brand new, something that my father and my grandfather have no say in. It's literally my own project. I feel as if it's a big responsibility, but I'm having a lot of fun doing it. And that kind of, it balances it out. So there's a lot to come up for PCA. I'm really looking forward to the show and see what we can provide.
We're really excited for it too. Alec, thank you for talking with us today. Really appreciate it. You guys are doing such a phenomenal job. So excited to see where you guys go in the future. Guys, thank you for watching. Thanks for following along. Check out Casa Cuevas, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more coverage from TPE 2022.
Thank you.